the people who made it kept me away from Eddie. And I'm gonna actually set the record straight with that.
You expressed the realities of Eddie Murphy's relationship with Rudy Ray Moore, who played the original Dolemite. That was his project, that was his entity, that was his business, as well as with yourself heavily involved. So my question is, was there any aftermath to that? Was there a follow up? Did you get in contact with Eddie Murphy or his team? I just love to know what happened because it did reach almost 500,000 people watched that
Yeah, I
particular
know. Yeah,
clip.
yeah, that did get about 500,000 views and a lot of comments. And I'm gonna actually set the record straight with that
Mm-hmm.
because people misconstrued what I was saying when I said Eddie hurt Rudy. Not, I didn't mean Eddie hurt Rudy. It hurt,
Okay.
it hurt Rudy because he always wanted to be in an Eddie Murphy movie, and he saw all the other comedians and actors uh, in Eddie movies, and he felt. I mean, if I heard it once, I heard it 100 times over the 20 years I worked with Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
Quarter. What has Eddie got against me? It was just that was Rudy's wine. It was nothing on Eddie. Eddie, and I really want to make this clear.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie made Rudy's story. Eddie did the Rudy Ray Moore story. That is one of the best things that could ever happen. He's one of the biggest actors in the world, one of the greatest comedians of all times. And the fact that he did Rudy's story is nothing but positive. And
Mm-hmm.
and he could get an Academy Award if he let me direct a sequel because nobody knows the Rudy Ray Moore like I do. And the reason I wasn't involved in that project is wasn't Eddie's fault. The people who made it kept me away from Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie never knew about me, never. And if he ever sees this, probably the first time he ever heard about me. But I know my story with Rudy begins where Dolemite is my name ends. After the Dolemite movie, I spent 20 years with Rudy. We made 4 movies, and I know the story of uh, how his life went after that when the dirty comedy fell out of grace and
Mm-hmm.
the clean comedians, the Bill Cosbys and those of the world became the quote unquote thing. But I four-walled movies with Rudy. We distributed them around the country, and I know how he stayed alive, and I know how the black mom and pop movie theaters
Mm-hmm.
had to close up because of the megaplexes. And Rudy and I were on the road constantly. And, the film would basically be a, um, a green book,
Mm-hmm.
with comedy with Rudy and his movies, and me and him with 2 rolls of film in the trunk of a Cadillac Eldorado.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
So
anyway,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say that would get Eddie an Oscar because that part of Rudy's story is the
Mm-hmm.
part that is not known to the public, and it's where the real heart and soul of the man was, and you understand, you get a behind the scenes look at how the industry changed of the cinemas between the megaplexes and the mom and pop black cinemas,
Mm-hmm.
which all
Mm-hmm.
turned into churches and stuff now,
Yeah.
because they couldn't get the prints. And so, anyway, that's another story. But yeah, Eddie, I'm cool with Eddie all the way around. It's like, thank you for making Dolomite is my name. Thank you so much for giving Rudy the respect in what he's due. And I gotta say this: when I did the documentary, "The Legend of Dolomite,"
Mm-hmm.
uh, I put on a show at the Ivar Theater in Hollywood, right off of Sunset Boulevard,
Mm-hmm.
and we filmed it. And my wife reminded me, I had totally forgot. Eddie came to that show.
Wow.
Eddie showed up. I never got a chance to see him, talk to him, and nothing because I was operating 3 cameras at the time because I had no budget. But
Right.
you know, we shot it for the documentary, and but Eddie was there, and I hadn't remembered that at all. But yeah, all props to Eddie Murphy. So I'm
No
done.
doubt.
This one on One Moment is presented by Hypers Club. Watch the full interview right now at hypersclub.com by becoming a member.